We can't put in a transparent proxy because these things are horribly unstable. This is true. But what we can do is we can put in a device that silently slows down sections because the host header was something we didn't want. Well, with Flash, we can set a host header. You can go to IOActive and you can request, give me MySpace, give me CNN, give me Yahoo. And that request is indeed going to go to MySpace, CNN, Yahoo. But the provider infrastructure is going to be like, wow, Yahoo got a new IP address. It's over at this new one, the IOActive address. And then they'll go start messing with IOActive or mess with, they actually think they're messing with Yahoo, CNN, whatever. So you can go ahead and basically put in arbitrary host headers to elucidate what the policies are. Now, here's the issue. All of these stunts are totally detectable. I assume there's some guy just like me who goes like, oh, I can totally mess with Kaminsky. So I had an interesting question. Could I create a network neutrality violation detector? Could I detect provider hostility so well, even I couldn't selectively turn off the hostility when I was looking? See, either way I win. Either I beat myself or I can't beat myself, so it's awesome. And it turns out I won. What do we want to do, right? This is going to go like 3 or 4 minutes over, hopefully. We want to spoof sites on the internet, right? We want to know what these sites would see. We want to be able to respond as if we were these sites. We don't want the real sites to get in our way as we're impersonating them. Okay, good luck. I mean, look, you can know IP spoofing all day, but in order to inject into a TCP stream, you got to know the sequence numbers. You got to know these random values between 0 and 4 billion, and if you don't guess it, your traffic's getting dropped. And clearly there is no way we could ever get a browser to tell us the sequence numbers involved in its transactions. Oh, hell no. Oh, wait. No, I think that's a hell yes. I mentioned this to one of my friends. He Googles, he's like, hey, Dan, it's called Packet X. You install this ActiveX control, it sniffs traffic. Oh, sweet. Now we can have some fun. Because now, look, what normally stops Mallory from pretending to be a random site on the net, Mallory doesn't know the sequence number. Now we can get the sequence numbers tunneled. And now our Mallory can go ahead and spoof traffic from MySpace, CNN, Yahoo, wherever Mallory feels like. It's awesome. Now there's a problem. Remember I said that we don't want the real site to mess with us? If our client, if Alice responds to Mallory, says, oh great, you sent me some data. The real site's like, what the hell was that? I didn't send you anything. Abort, abort, go away. Unless we tell the real site to screw off. So it turns out, when we get the sequence numbers, we actually find out what the precise sequence number would be to tell the legitimate server, no, you go away now. So what happens is we decide we want to go inject on MySpace. We tell MySpace, here's a reset, go away. We'll take it from here. Now, by specification, what's supposed to happen is that, remember, all these acknowledgments are being, because we're sending all this traffic to Alice. Alice is acknowledging to MySpace. And, MySpace would normally receive all these acknowledgments and would normally say, dude, I'm not talking to you, bye, and would send some resets. But we have these great things, they're called firewalls. They're all paranoid. Firewall's like, I don't have a session with you. Clearly you're a hacker. I'm going to pretend you don't exist. And so it drops all your traffic, thus totally allowing Mallory to go ahead and spoof all this site. It's awesome. Remember, from the provider network, provider just sees all this traffic getting sent from quote-unquote MySpace, getting acknowledged to quote-unquote MySpace. It's perfect. The only people that know that what is happening is the client and the server, Alice and Mallory, are collaborating to mess with the provider that may potentially be hostile. Now, of course, Alice is acknowledging traffic. Alice needs some way to get that traffic to Mallory. Clearly, the normal ACK stream doesn't work, but we have a sniffer, so we just sniff all the acknowledgments, tunnel them in AJAX using the stuff from earlier, and it just works fine. So yes, we're actually going to move TCP over HTTP. Rock. So why am I so obsessed with actually doing this? Check this creepy stuff out. The goal is to identify the applications being used on the network, but some of these devices can go much further. A company like Naris can look inside IP addresses, pick out HTTP, can reassemble emails as they are typed out by the user. My God, they can't even wait for you to hit send to be creepy. So guess what I can do to these guys now? I can impersonate anyone who doesn't hack my traffic. I can generate arbitrary traffic that appears to come from anyone I want, and I can provide deep packet inspectors with a whole bunch of fun stuff to inspect. So don't mess with my traffic. It's not a good idea. Conclusions. DNS rebinding threatens the boundaries of your network. There are multiple rebinding mechanisms and many major use cases for each of them. This is gonna suck to fix. The web really needs to have some work on its underlying security models. It's great for public to public. It's not so great for private stuff. We may need to consider doing something to imply integrity. One of the things I didn't mention, because of ad replacement, every site's going SSL within 18 months. Not every site knows it yet, but I'd invest in SSL accelerators. And there are mechanisms for detecting provider hostility, and I'm building them. That's it. Go ahead. So I'm looking for 1 or 2 questions and/or beer, and I have comic books if it's a good question. Any questions? Question 1 is V6 going to fix this? Like many things, V6 is totally orthogonal to this problem. You can totally rebind to another IPv6 address just like you can rebind to another IPv4 address. V6 does not help, nor does IPsec, nor does pretty much anything at layer 3. Go ahead.
So with regards to sites being or companies being able to say, hey, I am doing these DNS rebinding tricks or DNS distribution. How does the security aspects of that interplay with CDNs that host multiple sites like Akamai or simple hosting providers?
So the question, actually a good question. Here, grab a comic book. The question is how does the legitimate use of Google, Google will spread its content across a lot of IP addresses. How does this scale to Akamai, which is actually spread across not just lots of IP addresses, but lots of sites? And this is, oh wow. That's fantastic. What? That's fantastic. No, so take 2 books. This is great. So one of the proposed solutions is that, all right, we're going to have servers recognize the legitimate host headers, and they'll only respond to them. Well, guess what? You have Akamai that's responding to host headers from like 1,000 different companies, and any of them get to mess with any of the other ones. That is awesome and totally unrealized, and we're having a beer after. Any other questions? All right, guys, track me down later. All is awesome.
Yeah, real quick before you guys all head out the door, we got lunch starting here for an hour and a half. See you back at 2. But in the meantime, in the vendor area, we've got a handful of vendors there, including someone that's selling these RFID wallets. They're really nice. They're all handmade, made from recyclable materials. Check them out. We've got hackerstickers.com in there selling caffeine, lock picks, bump kits, etc. And a no-starch press is in there. And the Hacker Foundation are selling shirts, including their product Red Shirt in there. So wander on in to room 27 during lunch, and see you guys back in 2 hours.